Hello, I am Emily Elias.
And I'm Tom Wiggins, and this is Desert Island Dips, the podcast where we pit condiment against condiment and ask, if you were trapped on a desert island, which 5 dips would you take with you?
We have not had much movement on the island. We've got 5 firm...
I thought you meant a bow situation.
Why would that... I'm going to talk about that. I'm a lady.
It might happen, though, because the diet might not be that great.
Stop derailing me.
Sorry.
We have not had much movement on the island. Ketchup, brown sauce, English mustard, barbecue sauce, sriracha. They're all safe. Mm-hmm. Could it be...
It's such a good list, though, isn't it?
Could it be the Asian sensation, soy sauce?
You could be a... what do they call? Is there a name for the people in boxing rings that do all the sort of announcing?
Dream job. I would love it if I could be like a caller where I just be like, in this corner,
yeah,
soy sauce. In the other corner, ketchup, mustard.
Are we doing a live show?
We should.
Because we could do that. That could be the format. It could be a big condiment Royal Rumble.
Let's get into it. Shall we get into it?
Yeah.
What are your initial thoughts? How do you feel about soy sauce to start out with?
It's fine. I accept it and welcome it as a sort of constituent ingredient of Asian foods, but it's not the kind of thing that I would ever add more of as functioning as a condiment.
Okay, so in that corner, Tom Wiggins. In this quarter, Emily Elias, absolute champion for soy sauce, because I think it should make it on the island.
Okay. I thought you meant you were like the winner.
No.
The champion
I'm championing
I'm not
it.
the loser just because I don't like it that much.
No, but I am the people's
but you are
by
supporting
proxy. It. I think it should be there. It's a great sauce. Okay.
Well, that's a spoiler. Okay.
Well, we're going to find it out.
Yeah.
Okay, shall I get into the history of it all? Because that's generally how this show starts.
That's how we normally start, yeah.
So the precise origin is obscure.
I think they're hiding something from us. It's always difficult to find out, isn't it?
But it's just kind of like, it's obscure
in
the way.
Conspiracy?
No, it's just like in a vague.
No, I don't mean them. I mean everybody. They're always difficult to find out exactly who's
because
the original.
Historians didn't care about condiments, and it wasn't like properly documented.
Or is it an Illuminati thing?
So this week, Tom will play conspiracy theorist on the podcast. Anyway, luckily there are a lot of people who have written stuff up about soy sauce, so we've got a lot of.
Thank God for that. Yeah.
So let's go back in our time machine.
Mm-hmm.
About 3,000 years.
Blimey.
Soybeans started growing in China.
Oh, I should have guessed from the name.
Yeah. Soybeans.
Yeah, okay. Yeah, now it all makes sense. Yeah.
Yeah, and so at that point in like the soybeans journey as a food, they were kind of seen as like a porridge, a food staple, something that you would like need to boil for a long period of time and then you would eat. It wasn't seen as like a sauce. Then about 2,000 years ago, the Chinese started like fermenting these thick pastes called jangs.
Right.
And these were usually made out of seafood or meat. So according to one old tale, the tradition of this condiment, the jang, came from the Queen Mother of the West, a Chinese goddess who taught the Emperor Han of Wu how to make a string of pearls, cloud, jang, and other exotic spices. I don't really know what that means, but
you
apparently...
said it like you were doing like a museum tour.
Yeah. That's what I was going for. Apparently, there's like a Chinese goddess came down and bestowed condiments knowledge upon the emperor, and he then passed it on.
Have we somehow been affected by that?
Yes.
Us, as in the two of us? Do you think we've had a visit from them as well?
No.
That caused us to start this podcast?
Maybe. Oh, do you think this is all inspired by the Queen Mother of the West?
Yeah.
She came to us in a pub in London, and she said,
in Camden, and was like, "Do a condiment podcast." And we went, "Could we call it Desert Island Dips?" And she was like, "That is the best name ever."
Thank you, Queen Mother. I hope we are doing you proud. So anyway, so it was being made with like meat and seafood, and then somewhere in the evolution of it, it was like, hey, why don't we use these soybeans? And somebody was like, yeah, that seems like a good idea. And the first like modern reference to it was in a 13th century cookbook written by the Song Dynasty scholar Lin Hong.
Okay.
So it's pretty old.
Yeah, that's very old, yeah.
So in that recipe, they basically said you need to like soak the soybeans and then mix them with flour and wheat and then leave them to ferment. And then all the different kind of molds and fermentation will then give you this like...
That's where the flavor comes from.
Delicious, lovely flavor.
Yeah.
And so that's kind of how like the Chinese make it. But clearly this is like a sauce that has got the entire Asian world...
Gone all over the world now.
Totes. Yeah. So if you're in Japan, you're using like an equal portion of soybean and wheat to make it sort of like a lighter, sweeter, tangier flavor. If you are in Hong Kong, you use 9 parts soybean, 1 part wheat. So if you have a gluten allergy, soy sauce is not the sauce for you. But if you're gluten intolerant, you could probably handle it. So by the time of China's final dynasty, the Qing dynasty, 1644 to 1912, soy sauce had eclipsed the rivals and was like China's number one
condiment.
Yeah, and probably across that part of the world.
Yeah. I don't know anything about Chinese dynasties. I never get those questions right on University Challenge. I don't even know what to say.
I feel like I should know.
I think so as well, because it's a big old place, isn't it?
There's actually this video, or YouTube video this guy made called The History of Japan. And it like
That's different.
No, I know. But it like rattles through sort of like all of the different dynasties in a way where you're like, oh, this makes sense to me. Because a lot of them like really like tend to overlap in dates because there's like crossfighting and like there's all sorts of like seats of power being shared around. That's what I find confusing because I feel like sometimes you look at things like, I thought the other guy was, oh, maybe not. But I apologize to all Chinese historians out there that my knowledge is...
We're not very good on Chinese history, I'm afraid. Well, we're getting better though, with especially if it's about your condiments.
Yeah, slightly better.
Yeah.
I mean, I think I pronounced all the names correctly, so... So shall we get back into our time machine and head to the 17th century?
Right, yeah, it's a bit of a jump.
Well, not really. It's like 1644.
Oh, hang on, no, 1640. Yeah, okay.
So at this time in the history of the planet, Dutch traders were building up trade relationships with Japan, and that is when soy sauce started to conquer European palates.
That's how it happens.
So more Europeans were more familiar with soy sauce than they were soybeans.
Okay.
Because it was just started to like get into the diet.
Do you know what? That I think I was way more aware of soy sauce way before I was aware of such a thing as a soybean. So just history repeating, isn't it?
Yeah.
If you don't learn from your mistakes, you're doomed to repeat them.
I feel like this anecdote could be definitely taught to history students all over the world.
So the first time you should tell children, the first time they have soy sauce, think about where it possibly has come from.
Do you think it came from a bean?
Maybe, or just something called soy.
Oh.
What could that be? And then they can listen to this and then everything will be okay.
Get your children on it. So the Japanese are making soy sauce, and there's this one region that's like pumping it out. And based on historical documents, there are 19 soy sauce brewers in this one area called Noda, and they're shipping their soy sauce to Edo or Tokyo.
Okay.
Why did I whisper Tokyo? I don't know. Tokyo! I don't know.
Hang on, has it got 2 different names?
Well, at the time it was called Edo.
Oh, okay. I didn't know that either.
It's now modern times. It's called Tokyo.
Okay. That's, again, Japanese history. Not
facts.
Good. Yeah.
Dropping the facts. So they're kind of like, there's all these different suppliers, but clearly 3 families rose to the top. And they were the Mogi family, the Hirokiri family, and the Takanashi family.
Okay. This is starting to sound like it could be a film to me.
They came together and formed one company, Kikkoman. I'm sure you've heard of that label. That. Yeah.
I remember seeing that on the shelves when I was a youngster.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Those guys.
Okay.
So then after the war, let's not talk about the war. I'm just going to breeze over that part.
Which war are we talking about?
World War II.
World War II, okay.
Bad stuff happened.
Yeah.
Japanese, bad stuff happened. Japan has now got like a whole bunch of foreigners in the land. They got like occupation forces, journalists, foreigners, and they're becoming more familiar with Japanese cuisine. And so they're taking so they're taking it back to their countries, and like there's sort of like a mini boom in soy sauce, and the market starts kind of taking off. Now, I want to talk about two different elements of soy sauce delivery.
Okay.
Both are equally important.
Do you mean delivery from onto the plate or?
Yes.
Okay, yeah.
So one
Or onto the dish,
would be the bottle.
Yeah.
In particular, the Kikkoman bottle.
It's got a nice shape.
It's got a very nice shape, doesn't it?
Smooth and wider at the base and comes up and then sort of slightly widens again at the top, and it's got like a red plastic lid.
That's it.
Yeah.
It's beautiful. It's
very plain, and also rather than a label, it's sort of printed straight onto the bottle. It's very simple design. It's I don't think I'm going to go as far as to say iconic.
I would say it's an iconic condiment design, bottle design.
Yeah, okay, let's go for it. Yeah.
Well,
awarded the first Desert Island Dips Iconic Bottle Award. It's not the first one. There have been others, but we just haven't awarded them they get their own awards for
own things.
Yeah.
So that was created by a guy named Kenji Ikwan.
Okay.
So his story is when he was 16, he was on his way home from Naval Academy on a train, and he witnessed the Hiroshima bombing from the window.
Blimey.
And so when he got home, he was like returning to nothing.
Yeah.
And the atomic blast killed his little sister, his dad. A Buddhist priest died of radiation poisoning, and that kind of like prompted him to then become a monk.
and then he designed a condiment bottle.
But then he said this in an interview with the New York Times. He was like, faced with the nothingness, I felt this great nostalgia for human culture, and I needed something to touch and to look at. And I decided right then and there I needed to be a maker of things.
Right.
So after the war, 1952, he starts up this firm called GK Designs, and he is responsible for the design of the Akita bullet train, Yamaha motorbikes, and in 1961, the Kikkoman soy sauce dispenser.
No way.
Yeah. So
which one did you say is the best of those?
I would say the soy sauce dispenser.
Yeah, me too.
I'm not really a motorbike.
Like 4,000 mile an hour trains? Yeah, whatever.
It took him
soy sauce bottle.
It took him 3 years to actually design the bottle.
That seems like a long time.
And he went through more than 100 different prototypes, and he was trying to innovate a dripless spout. This was the thing that really tripped him up.
So that's the bit that takes the time.
Yeah.
Because I was going to say, the design itself isn't exactly complicated, is it?
But it was like, he wanted it to have sort of like, kind of based on a teapot, but inverted so that it wouldn't actually, like, it would spill onto your food when you intended it to, and there wouldn't be backsplash.
And also, it's easy to control the portion size as well, isn't it?
Exactly.
Yeah.
It's a very clever design.
It is a really, really good design, yeah.
And anyway, he like is like super proud of like the functionality of it, and is like the timeless Japanese design. It was like improved, and it like the red cap on it like represents like Japan.
Right.
And he like really put like
from the top it would look like a circle, wouldn't it?
Yeah, look like a little flag.
Like on the flag.
Yeah. So anyway, he is.
Have you sent him an email?
No. Definitely not. I think he's very old now.
Well, he's probably got nothing to do then.
I'm not sure. I'm genuinely did not look up whether or not he had since passed.
Okay,
but
let's hope he hasn't.
I hope he's still alive and
listening to this
and eating all his soy sauce. Yeah. Anyway, but there's another form of packaging.
Okay, what, an official one?
That is key.
Yeah.
To soy sauce delivery.
Yeah, I don't know what unofficial packaging is, but yeah.
Like knockoff packaging.
Where you buy a load and then you put
Prada
it in,
on it, or
you buy a load of bottles and then you empty them into a cardboard box. That's unofficial condiment packaging. Carry on.
Let's talk sachets.
Okay. Do you know what? Generally, I'm not a big fan of sachets.
Okay, I appreciate that, but I think we're going to go on a journey right now.
Have they invented a better kind of sachet?
Well, the history of the sachet is actually fascinating.
Did they invent sachets?
Kikkoman?
Yeah.
No, they did not. So the first sign of a soy sauce packet came in a 1955 patent by two guys named Harold Ross and Yale Kaplan. And what they wanted to do was essentially create a packet that you could use as a single serving, but it could also like be a bit like resealable if you needed it to. Clear. So like, I think we're already seeing like a problem with this.
The way that we looked at each other then says that we don't really believe that they fulfilled that part of the mission statement.
And so when they were doing the design, they didn't it worked for like more viscous fluids like ketchup. Yeah. But when you're dealing with soy sauce,
it's not going to work for that, is it?
It didn't work.
No.
But like the idea was there. It was percolating. and I think their effort should be mentioned. But the actual guy who made it like really popular is this guy named Howard Epstein. And he founded a company called Carryout, which is like the most dominant soy sauce brand for takeaway soy sauces.
Right.
So he got started when like his dad was basically in the food packaging biz. And his dad worked with packaging freezer pops, like, you know, freezies, like those popsicles.
We would call them ice pops, I think, or ice poles in this country.
We call them freezies. Anyway, so his dad was in the freezy business, and his son was kind of like not really sure what he wanted to do, and so he ended up getting into a popcorn making business. And he bought it for like $5,000, and he was like, "I'm gonna give this a go," and it sucked. Like, it didn't go anywhere.
Oh, that's a shame.
So
I like popcorn.
Everybody loves popcorn, but a popcorn business, like,
I mean, who are the big names?
Dr. Orville Redenbacher.
No, who are the big names in popcorn?
Orville Redenbacher.
What? I've never heard of them.
It's a big American brand, but like, unless this guy is talking about like innovating like microwave popcorn,
yeah.
Like, I get that, but we're like 1964.
Probably not.
We're not at that time.
And I think there is room for improvement in the microwave popcorn industry.
Such as?
Well, the way that quite often when you put it in the microwave, the bag inflates and then it's too big to spin around, so you get bits that don't pop as much as other bits, and there's your problem. Hitting that perfect
pop.
Was it 2 to 3 seconds? You have to wait. That's when you that's when you go, right, that's done. Is the 2 to 3 seconds between the popping. Very difficult to do. Those are the main issues I have with it.
Fair. Shall we move on? Because we're not going to solve the issues of popcorn on this.
No, we're not. That guy might, but we're not.
So 1964, Epstein is like chatting with one of his father's salesmen who sells tea bags. And the salesman's like, "Hey, you should think about soy sauce. All these Chinese restaurants are popping up. Like, if you did something like that, like maybe it'd take off." And
he sounds like a clever bloke.
The salesman just gave him like a $1 idea.
Yeah,
it's like, thanks for the free idea.
Yeah.
So Epstein founds Carryout, and he starts like making in the popcorn factory that went nowhere soy sauce packets. And like
double use factory. Yeah.
And like fairly simple to what his dad was doing with the freezies, but smaller.
Very similar.
Very similar. Yeah. But there was like a slight problem in that his primary clientele, the Chinese restaurants of the America, I don't know why I called it the America, but I'm going to lean into it. They didn't
United States of.
Thereof,
yeah?
Yes.
Okay. The America, United States of.
America, comma, the United States of. They didn't trust this Jewish guy from the Bronx to like sell, to get in there. He had a hard time like breaking into like the actual market.
Yeah.
And so he got his big break in the form of air travel.
Oh, well done.
So
he's always looking for. He's like, where hustling. Can I go? What's possible? He's not an idiot, is he?
No. So 1970s, air travel's taking off. Tons.
It's like Liam Perrin's on the cruise ships again.
Yeah, and
soy sauce on the planes.
All of a sudden, people needed like packaged small things that they could fit on the planes.
And they do again now because of the liquid restrictions.
Exactly. So he started getting his soy sauce packets into in-flight meals, and then Chinese restaurants and like who were flying would see them and be like, "Oh wait, that's like a great idea. We should get that."
Yeah.
And like then larger markets like the Asian market that is already in love with the soy sauce.
He sold soy sauce back to the Asian market.
Boom, in his packets.
That's like a Jay-Z lyric or something. Something about selling water to a well. Is that a Jay-Z lyric, or has he stolen that from somewhere else?
I don't know.
From the Hustler, it's I sell ice in the winter, I sell fire in hell. I'm a hustler, baby, I'll sell water to a well. And some soy sauce in a sachet to the Asian market.
Boom.
I think that's better.
Less catchy, but yeah. So Epstein is now like 84 years old. And he says, "I never get sick of Chinese food or soy sauce." Because
you'd think working in the business.
He has got 50% of the market share.
Blimey. He must be really rich.
I would imagine. I imagine he's having like expensive nurses. I don't know. He's 84. Like
he probably lives in a building shaped like a
giant packet
of I was going to say a giant bottle of soy sauce, but then he's not involved in the bottle, is he?
No, he's a sachet man.
Yeah. So he lives in a massive sachet.
I bet he has a pool that's in the shape of a soy sauce.
And the water is specially coloured brown to look like soy sauce. It's almost black, in fact, isn't it?
That's having money. I don't think I have enough imagination to be rich. Because if you gave me...
But I do, because that's what I would
do.
Yeah,
because like if you gave me like unlimited money in the entire world, I don't think I would come up with very exciting things to do. I think I would just be like, I'll have a cup of tea, but a really expensive cup of tea. Like I wouldn't be
I'll pay someone else to make it for me.
Yeah.
But you'd get it in a shop down the road like normal people
I'm not creative enough to be rich. It'd be wasted on me.
Do you think one day we should do, as one of our many offshoots that we're planning,
of course,
we should do like a condiment rich list? Like find out who's the like richest condiment.
That sounds like some great research for you to do.
Yeah, one day.
Do you know who else loves soy sauce?
Do I have to guess? Beyonce?
No, you'll never get it.
Okay.
Artist Tsuyoshi Ozawa.
You're right. I never would have got that because I don't know who that is.
He had an exhibition called the Museum of Soy Sauce Art in 2008 to 2000, or 1998 to 2000. It doesn't really matter.
Long running. Must have been popular.
2-year running exhibition in which he recreated Japanese masterpieces using soy sauce as paint.
Maybe there was an image left behind on the plate when he'd finished. He was dinner one day. He was like, it looks like
Mount Fuji.
Yeah, or there's a dog frolicking in this ocean, and he thought, that's what I'm going to do. That's my 2-year long-running exhibition.
I love that that's where your imagination went. Any picture in the world, and he thought, dog frolicking in the ocean.
I was just trying to think of something that might, if you look at clouds.
I'm not knocking it. I'm saying you're a wonderful
I'm very
person.
pure.
Yeah, you're a wonderful man.
If you look at the clouds, you see every now and then you see stuff. Dogs quite often crop up, don't they? And because the sky is like the opposite of the sea. There we go.
Okay. I didn't really follow the logic on there, but I'm not going to question you. Hey, want to talk about Canadian tennis sensation Genie Bourchard and soy sauce?
I have never heard of that person. Is this a contemporary tennis sensation?
Yeah, very much so. Yeah,
I don't like tennis. It's really boring. In fact, I'd say it's probably one of my least favourite sports.
I also don't like tennis, and that's why I can only tell you is she wins stuff sometimes. Like, I don't know, wins stuff.
And you know more about her a connection with soy sauce than you do about any of the tennis.
I would say my Genie Bourchard knowledge is 90% soy sauce based.
That could come in very useful.
Okay, so basically...
it will do right now.
Oh, totally right now. Basically, she started this giant controversy when she posted a picture on Twitter, and it looks like she had her lunch.
Okay.
She had like a half-eaten sushi set with like soy sauce kind of left over on that sort of like extra tray thing that you use as the lid. And she clearly had a slice of pizza, and she dipped the pizza into the soy sauce and ate it. And she just posted pizza dipped in soy sauce, period. I'm telling you, period.
No, that doesn't sound like... This is like that guy that had ketchup on baked beans in EastEnders.
I don't understand why you'd add ketchup to baked beans.
What's
that
wrong with
doesn't
him?
make any sense to me. So this is like a big deal, clearly. And it was like picked up by the news.
So there was a fairly significant response to this.
New York pizza places backlashed against this.
What are you doing?
Yeah, like it was
Do you
just
think there was something slightly because she was Canadian though? Do you think there was
I think it honestly had like a tone of like millennials ruin everything. Now they're defiling perfectly good pizza. But in response, Mr. Shimada, the president and CEO of Kikkoman USA Sales, he took a 36-second silent video where he dramatically like pours the soy sauce into a like receptacle, a very traditional receptacle, dips a slice of pizza into the soy sauce, then eats it, and then does a very deep bow of approval. And they tweeted back, "Ignore the doubters. We tested it and came to our conclusion that you are right. Also, that you are indeed our spirit animal." Which, like, hey, ease up, Kikamon, social media. Stop trying to make a Canadian tennis player your spirit animal.
Yeah.
Like,
just make her an ambassador for the brand. Just
like,
leave it at that.
What is this spirit animal business?
I don't even really know what that means. To be honest with you. No, people say it all the time on the internet, and I'm just sort of, well, I don't know what do you mean by that?
Unless you have like a fox that literally follows you, or like a Cinderella-style birds that are like on your shoulder, you don't have a spirit animal.
And also, you have to be I know human beings are animals, but you have to be a sort of an actual animal to be a spirit animal, don't you?
Yeah,
really.
She's definitely a human woman.
She's their spirit human woman, or their spirit Canadian.
Just have her be a brand ambassador. Just have her be a brand ambassador and be done with it. I don't like this patronizing.
Do you think that you'll ever be anyone's spirit Canadian?
I think I'm.
Or do you think you already are?
I think I might be your spirit Canadian. You can't get rid of me, Tom. Forever.
That's not what they're supposed to do. They're not supposed to haunt you for your whole life.
I'm sorry. Where's the definition of spirit animal? My spirit animal takes the place of haunting you. We were born on the same day.
Oh, God, yeah, you're right.
And I'm haunting you. With my Canadian accent.
Oh, dear. Oh, well, that's the bombshell, isn't it, for this episode?
Well, I was actually going to get more bombshell. I forced us to order pizza to try the soy sauce creation. Shall we see if Genie Bouchard is right?
Yeah.
And the head of the CEO of Kikkoman USA Sales, who clearly has a horse in the race.
Yeah, he does, yeah. I'm interested to know why they did it as a silent video and then added all that text.
I don't know.
Why didn't he just say all that?
They put like dramatic music underneath it, but he's solidly silent.
Yeah.
I don't know.
I suppose it's good to keep things either silent or subtitled on the internet, isn't it? Because you don't know if people have got the sound on when you're watching.
It was shot very well. Like, it's clearly building a sense of drama.
Good.
Like, whoever's cousin took the video on their phone clearly had at least a Film 100 class under their belt at university.
Right then, time for pizza with soy sauce.
So we have a slice of pizza from
Trattoria De Luigi in Stoke Newington.
Wonderful, wonderful pizza place.
Mine is a Buffon pizza because they're all named after Italian footballers. And despite what he's done recently, you won't know that, but he has disgraced himself slightly recently. His pizza sounded nice, so I've got that. And I'm going to dip it in.
You've got like ham, sausage, onions.
I'll tell you what it is. It's Sardinian sausage, ham, and red onion.
Ooh, very nice.
Yeah. And we're going to dip it in soy sauce and see if... What was her name? Canadian tennis player?
Genie Bouchard is right.
We're going to see if she's right. Bearing in mind, also, as I said at the beginning, I'm not even that big a fan of soy sauce. So who knows how this is going to go. Do you think that's...
Yeah, I think that's healthy enough. I didn't really soak it. I just kind of lightly dusted.
I
dipped.
It looks a bit like I've put it in like vinegar dressing or something. Okay, ready?
Yeah, 3, 2, 1.
I'm going. No.
Mine's actually quite nice.
Is it?
Yeah.
Soy sauce is quite salty, isn't it?
Yeah. It's like a giant salt lick.
Yeah. Pizza is normally very salty as well. I don't think that is helping. When I have takeaway pizza, I wake up in the middle of the night afterwards, or dehydrated. This is going to be that to the max if I continue to do that. Which I'm not going to do.
I think I'm on Team Genie.
Really?
I think it actually tastes good.
Just because she's Canadian?
No. I wouldn't necessarily if there was a sea of condiments ahead of me of put this on your pizza, I don't think I would naturally go to the soy sauce. I don't think it would still be my first choice, but I didn't mind that. It was quite nice.
Do you know what? Actually, it's not as bad as I thought.
It just tastes like salt. It just tastes salty.
It's just added salt.
Yeah.
My attitude towards condiments with pizza is I'm quite against it already. Yeah, I don't. You quite often get those little tubs with
Oh yeah, I'm
takeaway
addicted
pizza.
to those. Yeah.
I'm never into them.
Whoa.
Whereas I know a lot of people are very into them.
Very like there's.
So I mean that might
Some
be.
people have messaged me asking if we're going to do like one specific episode about pizza
Which one
condiments.
is it? There's a Domino's garlic and
Papa
herb.
John's. What? Yeah, the garlic
that
and herb one, basically.
My friend Laura asked me to do a whole episode on, and I was like, I don't even like that stuff. So, what is required from certainly her and maybe some other people is for us to use our knowledge and detective skills to find the closest thing you can get to that you can buy in shops.
I really liked it. It was real salty, real nice treat.
I'm not against it.
I don't think it's the abomination that the New York newspapers were making it out to be. It's actually quite pleasant. If I was like at a canteen and I had like a a cafeteria sort of thing where you had like a slice of pizza and a sushi set, I would definitely mingle the two.
The thing is, this is I like this pizza, regardless of what Gianluigi Buffon has done recently. I think this is a nice pizza. I think maybe that if I'd had a underwhelming pizza, this possibly would be a good way of giving a little boost.
So what you're saying is I should have got freezer pizza.
No,
to
what I'm
really
saying
test
is
it.
should have got Domino's.
Oh,
Because that is
the
rubbish.
worst.
But it's also expensive, so that would have been stupid.
Why is it so expensive when it tastes so terrible? I just don't understand.
I don't know. So you notice I've had 3 dips now.
See? You're into
So
it.
I can't be that against it, can I?
No. You're into it. You don't want to admit that they're right. Well, on your triple dip notice, shall we do whether or not soy sauce makes it
make
on?
the decision.
Yeah. What do you think?
For me, no.
Whoa, just firm? I didn't woo you with its artistic merit, its design capabilities.
My favourite thing about soy sauce has become the story about the cap. I think that's great. That's really good. And I'm sort of. I mean, there's not many other condiments that you would need that sort of non-drip sort of application for.
It's Lee and Pairings, and like Tabasco.
Tabasco's got
they've
that
got their
little
special
sprinkler
sort
one,
of like
yeah.
things. So it's like a regulated one drip at a time, whereas like the soy sauce has kind of got like a portion control movement.
So I'm impressed by that.
I love how you're still eating the pizza. Like, you just can't stop.
I haven't dipped it this time though, because I needed a control.
And you're like, the dipped is way better. It's growing on you.
It's different. But as I said at the top of the show, that is technical jargon for you there.
Yeah.
I just don't really. It's not a big part of my culinary life.
Whereas
so
I think I use soy sauce like every day.
The thing is, as I said, I can't remember if I said it at the beginning. I use it as an ingredient, and I absolutely recognise its role that it has to play as an ingredient. But as a condiment,
you don't dip sushi in it.
I don't eat sushi.
No,
not after I heard that story about the 5'8" tapeworm.
On the
Adam Buxton podcast. It's the most horrible thing I've ever heard. No, I just don't like sushi.
Fine.
I don't like raw fish.
Fine.
I suppose you could have the vegetarian one, but
I think we just like, as I've been that
really
annoying
sushi
person
then,
that's like been talking about their dairy allergy. Everybody hates that person, but like clearly I became that person tonight. I think like I just naturally eat more like Asian sort of foods, like from that sort of like part of the world.
There's not a lot of dairy in it.
No, and it's delicious.
So you've developed an affinity for soy sauce.
I will champion the soy sauce.
Well, then we're in a situation.
But the problem is I don't think it knocks off ketchup.
Okay,
I think that
fine.
you would stab me if I got rid of brown sauce. But that's what I think where it would go for me would be getting rid of brown sauce. English mustard, you got to have a mustard. Barbecue sauce, I feel is just like it's teetering. And sriracha, you need a hot sauce. So
if this whole thing was one of those 2p machines on the pier,
yeah,
or in the popular game show Tipping Point, barbecue sauce is the one that's closest to coming off the edge. But rather than becoming a winner, it would become a loser.
I think.
But for me, soy sauce is not the penny that's dropped in at the top in order to knock it off the bottom.
All right. Well, I have to respect your opinion because this is a consensus. But if this was my own personal island, soy sauce would be on it.
I think that's worth acknowledging.
Yeah, I think that's... And I all the characters who help bring soy sauce to our daily
To life.
life. Yeah. Like, people got behind this sauce and they made it happen.
I'd still think there potentially there's the soy sauce the movie has got legs.
I feel like the Kikkoman bottle design story.
Someone should make a documentary about that.
Maybe I will. Maybe I will, Tom Wiggins. Maybe I will.
Go for it.
Cool.
I think Netflix will buy it off you.
They'll buy anything these days. On that note, soy sauce is not on the island.
No, but
However,
we wave at it from the shore and acknowledge its contribution, which is what we've done a few times.
I will
isn't it?
cry some soy sauce based
brown
tears. So if you would like to get in touch and tell us how we are wrong, and I will openly take that criticism, please tweet us at
Desert Island Dip, singular.
or
We're on Facebook. That one is Desert Island Dips, plural.
all the dips.
We've got a Gmail address, which is email.
Yeah.
DesertIslandDips@gmail.com.
Yep. We could be on a Google Hangout since it's a Gmail.
Do they still exist?
Yeah, of course they exist.
I thought they got rid of them.
No. If you want to tap us up on a Google Hangout, just to tell us how you're doing, why not?
I don't think they're called Hangouts anymore, are they?
Yeah, they are. I have an app that's called Hangouts, so I believe it's called that.
If you want to leave us a review, please do that, because that's always helpful.
It helps other people find this awesome podcast about condiments.
And I think that's all for housekeeping.
I think so.
We will see you in a couple of weeks' time for another episode.
Me oh my, will anything make it on the island?
I think you should record some sort of...
Hey, if anybody's out there handing out some voiceover work, I am open and available.
This is not... Actually, yes, it is.
Yeah,
So
totally.
you're not supposed to be here just to pimp yourself out for extra work.
Wait, what? What?
And if you want me to write about the history of any of the condiments we've talked about in the last, what are we on, 16 episodes?
Yeah.
I can do that.
Hey, you can write about more than just condiments, Tom. Don't put yourself in a box. You're
Let's
bigger
not
than
turn
that.
this into a advertising.
You're a great writer. I want you to believe in yourself. You're more than just condiments.
I need more than that. Right, thanks very much for listening, everybody. Tune in next time where we will talk about another exciting condiment,
To be determined.
which will be a mystery until you tune in. But that's exciting, isn't it? That's how we get you to come back.
Edge of your seat thrills.
You don't know what it's going to be.
No,
Could be anything. Probably won't be salad cream, though.
probably not. Sorry.
Till next time.
Bye.